Hi everyone. So we're going to try and help out a PlayStation gamer today who's based in the UK and has found himself falling foul of Sony's ban hammer. And from the way it's been described, it certainly sounds to me like he's fallen foul of a software bug, which unfortunately has led him to, well, have all of his PlayStation account banned, which unfortunately includes his PlayStation 3, his PlayStation 4 and his PlayStation Vita. So let's quickly run through what happened to this poor chap. So he was playing Final Fantasy X on his PlayStation 3 and his friend asked him to chat. So instead of jumping out of the game and into the chat system, he got his Vita and was going to chat using that. Now, his Vita asked him to run an update, and that's where his problem started. When he had run the update and it had logged back in, then when he tried to go to the chat system, asked him to log back in again. In attempting to log back in on his Vita, it then said his account had been banned. He thought, oh, that's really unusual, maybe it's a glitch. So he logged out on his PS3, tried to log in, and was banned. And having spoken to Sony, he has a rather interesting story, really. To begin with, they've basically said that he's been banned, and he's been permanently banned, for validation of terms of service. Now, his friend spoke to Sony, who then gave a slightly different story, saying that it might very well have been the PS Vita update, and he should try taking out his memory card, reinstalling the update, and seeing if that makes a difference. And unfortunately, that made no difference, and he's still permanently banned. Now, unfortunately, Sony's customer service here seems to be absolutely useless, I think I would say. Given the scenario we're dealing with here, ran firmware update, attempt to log in, permanently banned immediately, was fine before running the update. Any excuses Sony seem to be giving here seem to be just from their excuses playbook. They seem to be blaming this guy, saying that someone had hacked his account, and because he didn't tell them his account had been hacked, this other dodgy machine, supposedly, not that Sony have proved there's another dodgy machine, might I add, in this scenario, has led him to be banned. Well, my query there would be, how can somebody know their account has been hacked and is running on a dodgy console if Sony's system doesn't tell you which consoles you currently are running on? And certainly doesn't give you any kind of warning that, oh, this other account has been logged in, or this same account has been logged in on a new device. It does strike me that there's a dodgy firmware issue here, and Sony really need to help this guy out a little bit. He's been a PlayStation gamer since, I think, 2007 when he registered his accounts, 150 friends, 11,000 trophies, and he's owned every PlayStation product that Sony have ever made. This is the kind of guy who's a core gamer, and maybe the benefit of the doubt should be given here. Certainly with the scenario he seems to be suggesting, this does seem to be a software issue, a account glitch within the Sony network. If they can prove, can Sony, that it's a dodgy console, well, fine, you should be able to prove it wasn't this chap that logged in on it, because presumably it would be a different IP address. Likewise, when the gentleman has offered Sony to send him the PlayStation Vita, the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4, so that Sony can confirm there is no dodgy firmware on any of the equipment he personally owns, Sony have refused. Not only is this atrocious customer service from Sony, but it kind of flies in the face of, well, Sony's gamer credentials. They're meant to be all about the gamers here, yet they've just killed somebody's account that's, nearly 8 years old? That's really unacceptable. Now, this guy's in the UK, which is why I'm mentioning it, and there's also a petition up now on change.org where you can read through the full scenario of what happened to this poor chap and throw your weight into it. For my part, I'm going to contact Sony's PR department and flag this with them, because normally you're dealing with customer service people reading from a script, and it sounds like they've given this poor chap a bit of a runaround. So I'll drop a note over to Sony's PlayStation PR people in the UK, and we'll see if we can get this escalated a bit quicker. Obviously, what you guys can do is make sure as many people as possible know what happened to this chap, in part in case other people have suffered exactly the same problem with this firmware update, but also so that we can just get Sony's attention a little bit quicker. And whatever is going on within their customer service side of things here really does need tightening up. I think a little bit of more open communication between Sony and people who find themselves banned in this way would be a really good idea. At the moment, this is poor customer service, Sony. It seems to be a case of computer says banned, and that's the end of it. Well, as we all know, computers are infallible. Computers are fallible. Sony's network is fallible, and ultimately Sony's firmware updates are very, very fallible. I don't believe this is the first time we've seen this kind of issue occur. So visit the link on change.org, register your vote as a petition against Sony for this one, and let's see if we can get this chap's account unbanned before the end of the weekend, shall we?